Okay, so it's 2026 and the iPad lineup, wow. It has never been more powerful, but let's be real, it's also never been more confusing. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and help you figure out which one of these amazing tablets is actually the right one for you. You've probably been asking yourself, do I really need the Pro? Is the Air good enough? And what is the deal with the Mini anyway? Well, guess what? Those are exactly the right questions to be asking. And by the end of this, I promise you, you are going to have a crystal clear answer. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll go model by model, starting with that absolute powerhouse, the Pro, and work our way through the whole lineup. For each one, we'll get to the bottom of who it's really for, and then we'll wrap it all up with some straightforward advice to help you make that final call. First up, the king of the hill, the iPad Pro. Look, this isn't just another tablet. It's a statement. This thing is built from the ground up for people who push their tech to the absolute breaking point. And this quote from our source material, it just hits the nail on the head. The Pro isn't trying to be just a tablet. It's positioned as a full-on replacement for a professional workstation, a portable studio for artists, video editors, and designers. So what really makes it Pro? I mean, look at these specs. That M4 chip, that's legit desktop-class power in your hands. But the real star of the show, the thing you'll notice every single second, is that tandem OLED display. The brightness is just stunning. And when you pair that with 120 Hz ProMotion, everything just glides. Scrolling, drawing, editing, it's unbelievably fluid. So here's the bottom line. It is perfect if your work absolutely demands the best screen and the most power you can get. But, and trust me, this is a huge but, it is terrifyingly expensive. And some would argue that the operating system, iPadOS, still holds back all that raw power. It's kind of like having a Ferrari that you can only drive in a school zone. And yeah, here's the number that makes a lot of people's wallets clench. It starts at $999. But that's just for the tablet itself. Once you add on the things you probably need, like the Pencil Pro and the Magic Keyboard, you're easily looking at a total cost well over $1,500. Okay, so if the Pro is the no-compromise powerhouse, what's next? Well, that brings us to the iPad Air. Apple positions this as the sweet spot in the lineup, and for good reason. It's all about finding that perfect balance of pro-level features and a price that doesn't make you gasp. The Air is, hands down, a fantastic machine for a massive number of people. You get that sleek, modern design and a crazy fast M2 chip. So what's the trade-off? It's the screen. It's a standard 60 Hz display. Now, if you've been using a Pro, yeah, you might notice that scrolling feels a little less smooth. But for most people, it's a compromise that is absolutely worth making for the price. And this is exactly why that compromise is so compelling. Starting at $599, it's a whole lot cheaper than the Pro, especially now that you can get the Air with that big, beautiful 13-inch screen. Just look at this. This chart really puts the value into perspective, right? You're getting a huge chunk of that premium Pro experience for nearly half the starting price. If you're a student or using it for work, that $400 difference is, well, it's a massive deal. All right, next up, let's talk about the fan favorite, the little powerhouse, the iPad mini. It's so easy to just write this off as a smaller iPad, but that is completely missing the point. This thing is a specialized tool designed for two things, portability and focus. Our source material calls it a one-app-at-a-time device, and that is the perfect way to describe it. This isn't for juggling 10 different windows or writing a novel. No, this is for when you want to just dive deep and immerse yourself in one single thing, whether that's reading a book, checking a pilot's checklist, or just crushing it in a game. The people who love the Mini really love it. It is brilliant as a digital clipboard for a doctor on their rounds, a flight manual for a pilot in the cockpit, or an insanely powerful handheld gaming console, especially with that A17 Pro chip. But if you need to do real work, spreadsheets, long documents, that small size suddenly becomes its biggest weakness. It starts at around $499, so it sits in this kind of unique spot. It feels like a premium price for such a small device, but for the people who need its very specific blend of power and portability, it is worth every single penny. Okay, let's talk about the iPad for, well, pretty much everyone else, the standard entry-level iPad. This is the one that started it all, and it's still the go-to choice for millions and millions of people. This is the undisputed budget king. It does everything you'd expect an iPad to do, browse the web, watch Netflix, handle Zoom calls, and it does it all perfectly well. The biggest compromise here is the screen. It's non-laminated, which means there's this tiny little air gap between the glass and the screen itself. When you tap on it, it might feel a little hollow. Some people notice it, honestly, most don't. So who is this for? It's the perfect family iPad. It's the device you give to your kids or the one you just keep on the coffee table for anyone to use. The but here is that you are getting older tech. And yeah, figuring out which Apple Pencil works with which model can be a little bit of a headache. But you simply cannot argue with this price. You can often find it on sale for under $300. I mean, the amount of value you get for that price is just incredible. It's the easiest and most affordable way to get into the whole iPad world. Okay, deep breath. We've gone through the whole lineup. Now for the most important part. Which one should you actually spend your hard-earned money on? And when's the right time to buy? Let's put this all together. And here it is. Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet for the entire 2026 iPad lineup. You can see right here how the chip, the display, and the price all scale together. The key takeaway is super simple. Find what you're mostly going to use it for on this chart, and you've probably found the right iPad for you. But what about timing? Is now the right time to pull the trigger? Well, right now, if you can find a good deal on the M2 iPad Air or that base 10th gen model, the value is just unbeatable. Go for it. However, if you're an Air user who's craving more power, there are rumors an M4 update could be on the horizon. And if you've got your heart set on a Pro, waiting for the back-to-school sales in the summer is always a smart play. And I really want to leave you with this one last piece of advice from the source. It is so easy to get caught up in chasing the rumors and waiting for the next big thing. But the reality is, as the slide says, the M2 Air and the 10th gen iPad are already so powerful, they will handle 99% of what you throw at them for the next 4 years, easy. So it all comes down to this one question for you. Are you buying the absolute, no-compromise ultimate tool for a specific, demanding job? Because then, the Pro is your answer. Or are you looking for the most practical, value-packed choice for your everyday needs? That probably points you to the Air or the standard iPad. Remember, the best iPad isn't the most expensive one. It's the one that's right for you.